Another year talking about the Sony a5100. This camera is 9 years old now, and yet is still widely used. So the question is, should you buy one in 2023? Go on then, let's find out. To show what this camera can do, this whole video here that I'm recording, and all the example photos and videos have been taken using the Sony a5100. So, as you can hopefully see, the quality is still more than good enough for YouTube in 2023. And the sensor on the a5100 is a 24.3 CMOS sensor, and at this point is as old as time, debuting all the way back on the Sony a6000 in 2014. But amazingly, pretty much the same sensor is still used on some of Sony's newer cameras, such as the ZV-E10, which came out in late 2021. So, from a sensor point of view, the quality you can get with this camera is still pretty much up to date, well, for APS-C cameras anyway. Though it is worth noting that Sony's latest APS-C camera, the FX30, has a new 26 megapixel BSI sensor. So I think this may be the sensor we see with new APS-C cameras going forward. I guess we'll find out later this year. And when it comes to video, the a5100 offers full 1080p video recording with a built-in stereo microphone. The video quality makes it a great option for vlogging or shooting short films. The camera also has a 180-degree tiltable touchscreen, which makes it easier to frame shots from unique angles. One of the main highlights of this camera is the video capability and live streaming. Pairing this camera with a capture card makes this camera a popular and reliable choice for a streaming camera. Its compact size and sharp quality video makes it an easy option that will be a lot better than any webcam for streamers or video calls without breaking the bank. Also, another huge benefit is the lenses you can get for this camera. The Sony E-mount lens system has a massive range of lenses, means you can improve your shots massively with the same camera body. From the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which is brilliant for YouTube videos, the Sigma 18-50 f2.8, which is the perfect kit lens replacement, all the way to the massive Sony 70-350mm, which is a telephoto powerhouse, great for sports and wildlife. There are tons of great lenses which will improve your photography and videos a lot more than buying a new camera would. So, paired with a suitable lens, the picture quality is still very good, whether it be for photography or video. Now, whilst the low light performance won't match a full frame camera, you can still get sharp images that will far outperform other cameras of this age, and certainly more than most smartphone cameras. As I mentioned at the start, all examples and this video have been taken on the a5100. So let me know if you think the image quality is still good enough in 2023 in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and drop a like if you're enjoying this one. Now, let's talk about the drawbacks. The Sony a5100 doesn't have in-body stabilization, which can make it difficult to shoot steady footage. Additionally, this camera's battery life is average at best, so it is important to carry batteries if you're planning for a long day of shooting. Alternatively, you can use a dummy battery when recording video for extended periods, but you will need to be in a stationary position. Also, the lack of EVF, which is the electronic viewfinder, is a drawback, especially for photography. And of course, the big issue that always comes up with the a5100 is the overheating problem that it has. The camera will overheat when recording video to the memory card pretty quickly. Normally for me, and I live in a relatively cold country, after about 25 minutes of continuous recording, the camera will overheat and shut down. However, if you live in a much warmer climate, there are reports of this happening much quicker, sometimes as little as 10 minutes, definitely worth bearing in mind. Worth noting though, with the overheating, it generally doesn't happen with live streaming, generally just when you're recording to the memory card. Worth bearing in mind if you're only going to be picking up the a5100 for live streaming. Also, The built-in microphone is not the best quality. I'll swap to the onboard audio now, and you can hear the difference when compared to a dedicated microphone. And as this camera also doesn't have a mic jack to plug in a microphone, it does mean that syncing your audio with a microphone is a little bit more effort with the a5100. So the a5100 features a compact and lightweight design, making it easy to carry around, and even though the body is made out of plastic, it still feels pretty solid in the hand. The a5100 packs some impressive features, including that 24.3 megapixel sensor and 179 phase detection points for autofocus. It has a full 1080p video recording. However, in 2023, these specs are starting to feel a little dated compared to newer models, especially when it comes to 4K video recording. The a5100 produces sharp and detailed images, but does struggle in low light situations. The camera has limited manual control options, which means that it might not be suitable for experienced photographers, or even if you are just primarily thinking of a camera for photography. At its launch, the a5100 was great value for money. However, 9 years later, the camera is starting to show its age, which I guess is understandable, and there are better options available in the price range. Brand new, this camera is harder and harder to find and will cost as much as $600. And I wouldn't buy the a5100 for this price. However, the used market for this camera can be found for as little as $150, which is a brilliant price for this camera, and you're unlikely to find a better camera for this price, even secondhand. So, is the a5100 still worth buying in 2023? Well, it depends on your needs and your budget. If you're looking for an affordable compact camera with good image quality and features, the Sony a5100 is definitely worth considering. However, if you're looking for more advanced features like in-body stabilization or better battery life, you may want to consider other options. For me, the Sony ZV-E10 is probably the closest to a direct successor that we've had from Sony. And despite it not having in-body stabilization, it does have digital stabilization, as well as 4K video and a much improved autofocus system. Overall, the Sony a5100 was a great budget option back in 2014, but of course in 2023 it's starting to show its age. While it's still a decent camera for casual photographers, more experienced shooters may want to look at newer models with more advanced features and better low light performance. But for a good quality budget video camera and for live streaming, the a5100 is still an excellent choice. Do you still use your Sony a5100 in 2023? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on the video. But until next time, see ya.